Today on the Garlic Marketing Show, we are going to talk about one of the best video marketing strategies, the best video testimonial strategy, marketing strategy that everyone should be doing. And we're going to talk about why it's the best, how you judge something that's the best, how I came up with it, why it's going to affect your marketing so well, and the 13 different ways that you should be doing this. This is part of my Fish in a Barrel series. So I'll talk about why I call it the Fish in the Barrel. We're going to go through a lot on this episode of the Garlic Marketing Show. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, there's a link down below. You can sign up, get the entire series, plus you can get the Fish in the Barrel calculator. You can get some extra bonuses. You'll get our tackle box calculator as well, and the entire tackle box system, which is a multi-spreadsheet system that we've used for years. You'll get a ton of tools. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I want you to subscribe. But I'm not going to just ask you to subscribe without telling you why. I'm going to be putting out some live videos, some live workshops coming up. And the only way you're going to know about a lot of them is if you're subscribed. Now, if you're listening to the podcast and you're not subscribed on YouTube, you can go to cruisetube.com. Just type that in. Boom. You will find this YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. I want to get as many subscribers as possible. I want to help as many people as possible. Please put comments down below. Let me know if I've helped you. It really, really means a lot to me. So the strategy we're talking about today has helped a lot of people. And we're going to talk about video testimonials and the fact that they're not testimonials, they're video case stories. I'm sorry I lied to you. If you came to this and you didn't know, I don't do video testimonials. We do case stories. What's the difference? Well, there's a link to that down below. We can get into it. But stories are stories, and they're about that person. Testimonials are generally about you, your business. No one remembers testimonials. No one cares about your testimonials. They can have some social proof, but they are a waste of your time. You need case stories for your business if you have a service-based business. So this strategy, the fish in the barrel strategy, how did I come up with it? Well, we've looked at people's funnels. We look at people's marketing. We've worked with all types of marketers, people doing extensive funnels, authors, experts, Gino Wickman, Fran Tarkenton. And we look at how people come to your business. We've worked with lawyers, doctors, dentists, and we've noticed too that people, A, don't stay in a funnel because they're going to do research, and B, they're going to do a ton of research on you. So you've got people swimming around your business. And to give you an example, my son, Max, he loves fishing. When I first started to take him out fishing, I'd want to take him out in the middle of the lake and do bass fishing. And everyone wants to do bass fishing, right? And you want to go out there and you want to catch those big fish. And we're always thinking about the newest lures and whatever. And we're thinking about the newest rod and newest reel and how am I going to catch it? How am I going to find that spot? Where are the fish right now? And what happened was, because we lived on a lake and we had a dock, which was amazing, and my son Max was just, feeding fish around our dock. And it turned out that the smaller fish started to know that, and we started to have a ton of smaller fish around our dock. And Max started to catch those. And then after a while, we had so many smaller fish that we had bigger fish around the dock. And Max was catching the bass, the big bass. Why? Because he wasn't worried about going out and doing it the hard way, catching the big lunker out in the middle and finding it. Because eventually, if you do it right, all the people are going to start coming to you. And they're going to be surrounding your business. They're going to be a fish in the barrel. And you're going out right now, and you're trying to figure out the best leads, the best funnels, the newest traffic system, the newest thing on YouTube. And those are great. And there's a lot of great ways to do this. But there'll always be the fish in the barrel. This is an amazing strategy. So why is this such an amazing strategy? Before I get into the whole fish in the barrel strategy. Well, I've been doing marketing strategy for about 15 years now. And there's a few criteria I'm always looking for when we do something for clients. And I love video, right? Video, I think, is the best strategy out there. So this fish and barrel strategy is a video-based strategy. Why? Because video connects better than anything else. It connects on so many levels. And I love stories. And I love to get the right stories in front of people. When you put video and stories, it's going to fire up someone's brain. They're going to remember stories. We don't remember testimonials. We don't feel anything about case studies, but you remember stories. So we want to get as many of our stories in front of as many people as possible, the right stories in front of them at the right time. And I'm going to talk a little bit later about how we make sure that it's the right story at the right time. But when you do get the right story at the right time, right, people buy. And it is about timing too. So you have all these different places people are encountering every business. So it's a video, it's a storytelling strategy. It's also a strategy that I like that's long lasting and evergreen. Meaning it's going to last you a long time. There's a lot of strategies out there that come and go. Email marketing is great and it has its flux, right? It works really well and then doesn't. Facebook ads worked awesome and then they didn't. Facebook organic worked awesome and then it didn't. You got to start over and you're constantly starting over. YouTube, I think, is one of these strategies that's just growing and growing and growing, but it'll have fluctuations. They're all going to come to a certain point and surround your business. All of your prospects are going to come closer to you, and you're going to be driving them to around the dock, like you're talking about, into your fish in the barrel. And you're going to have these prospects swimming around you. So we've got, it's video, it's storytelling, it's evergreen, right? It's long lasting and a high probability of working. Why? Because when you put videos, amazing customer story videos, right? Great stories in front of people, the right people, and you keep surrounding them. That's how referrals work. Another person telling a story, it's a transfer of trust. So you've got these stories of your customers surrounding people. And you've got all these touch points that you need to make sure you're attacking them. I just heard recently that someone has to see your brand up to 500 times before making a decision on complex idea, right? 500 times. Think about how many times you think about doing something. You're right now probably thinking about doing case stories. It might be years before you do the case stories. So you're going to see me over and over and over again build trust, and you're build trust seeing our clients and customers. So I love all those aspects, right? High likelihood, evergreen, storytelling, so it's remembered, video, so it's hitting all the channels. Plus, one of the best things I love is it's going to amplify every other part of your marketing. Right? Every part of marketing is going to come down to this fish in the barrel strategy. So it's the strategy that everyone should be doing. It's a fundamental strategy. Fundamentals win games. When you get really good at things like blocking and tackling or free throws and dribbling, it wins games, right? It wins games. In sales, what is it? It's storytelling and follow-up, which is what we're going to talk about. Storytelling and follow-up are what win sales. If you tell a great story, it's not, and when I say stories, you might think, well, it's a sales story. You tell the right stories and you engage people and then you follow up with them until they're ready and you give them support and you let them believe this is going to win. So the fish in the barrel strategy has so many things going for it. But let's talk about why people don't hire you. Let's talk about referrals. You have potential referrals looking you up right now, right? Does your online presence stick out? Meaning, does it tell a story of who you are? Saying you have experience, saying you get amazing results, saying you care, saying you have amazing customer service, saying you have the best in the business. You can say that all day. That means nothing to everyone. Everyone's using those words. You have to have stories to back them up. Plus, people are looking not just at your website. They're Googling you, looking at you in every platform. They want to do research. Now, when they get there, does your content engage them? Is it something that they will remember? Because if it doesn't, even the best referrals are shopping around and they'll go look at someone else. So you've got all these fish swimming around, right? So they might not call on you and convert for those reasons. And then once they do hit your website, does your website hit stories in all the right places? Does it really speak to them? Think about this. Does it speak to them? Can you take your name out of the website and differentiate you from other people? Is there anything about you to remember, to really remember? You might have the best education in the world. You might have worked for the biggest company in the world. Why does that matter to that person? When they hit your website, they want to answer questions like, do you understand their problem? Have you helped someone like them? Why should I like you? Right? What is your process for doing this? Right? And how are you going to make me feel? Because in the end, like Maya Angelou said, people remember how you make them feel. And what gets emotions out? Stories, especially video storytelling. That's why this is so important. So people get to your website, they go to your About Us page, they go through your website, and still they might not make a decision. Why? You might have not stood out to them. It might not be the right time. They might not believe that you can do it for them, right? This is a big thing. They might not believe that you can do something for them, right? You get all the leads there. You get your pay-per-click going there, and they still don't believe you are the right one for them. And that's where stories come in, because you want to have as many stories as possible. And that's where a story is so important, because they want to know it's someone like them that you've helped. So now, what are some other reasons that they don't decide? We've got timing. They don't believe you can do it for them. Another thing that they don't believe sometimes is that they can do it for themselves. Stories have to overcome those internal alibis, those internal excuses of moving forward. I'm not someone that does something like this. I'm not someone that can lose the weight. I'm not someone that sues people. I'm not someone that markets in this way. I'm not someone that spends that much money on marketing. I'm not someone that does something like this. That's why we have to show them someone like themselves. The most important reason, and kind of brings all this into play, the most important reason that people don't take action right now is they don't see value in working with you right now. They don't see enough value. Whether enough value to part with that amount of money, whether enough value to take this much out of their day, whether enough value to take the time, take the risk of working with you. And you might say, well, I'm the best. I get these results. Let me show you my stats and my results. But those stats don't answer all those questions we talked about. Stories will. So then people leave your website, right? 2 to 4% of people that hit your website take action. A small part. Now I've got all these people that didn't take action. And even the ones that did take action, maybe contact you, maybe downloaded something. Or how are you following up? How are you building value? And this is what you need to do. Because at 2 to 4%, even if you convert 4% of those people, how many of those people are becoming clients that you convert into contacting you? Especially if you're running cold traffic, people that aren't referrals. How many of those people are you building the value and working with yourself? How many of those people are you building enough value to raise your prices? You're probably not. You're probably not following up really, really well. And this is it. This is the fish in the barrel part of it. People get distracted. They didn't decide. There's so many things that you need to do. So now we need to think about the fish when they start swimming around our dock, right? What are the things? Now I'm going to go into these in depth, right? In depth. But I want you to realize that each one of these stages, when you're telling a story, the story has to be made. You have to understand the platform you're telling the story on. Is it Facebook? Is it YouTube? Is it Google? Is it your website? You have to understand where this person is in their journey. Are they cold? Did they just learn about you? Maybe they don't know about your service yet, but they know that they have this problem that you can solve. Are they warm? Are they comparing other service providers? They know that there's a solution out there, but they're comparing solutions. Are they hot? They know about you. They've heard about you. They want to learn more about why you're different. Those are 3 different versions of the stories. And within those, there's 4 or 5 different versions. And then you have to design for platform as well. What platform's that there? The length, the design. Facebook. 80% of people using Facebook video do so without sound. So you have to design for that. You have to design for the first 5 seconds if you have to hook them in. Your About Us video can be longer, but a quick little story about you going before when they first meet you needs to be shorter, a shorter version of it. Your email follow-up might be longer, but that cold email might be shorter. So I will talk about all these, but some of the platforms that we need to think about in Fish and Barrel. First of all, your online reputation. What do people see when they first Google your name and they Google all these things about you? I'm going to talk about that and throughout this entire series. Then we're going to go deep into your website, because once people hit your website, all right, there's multiple pages that you need to have different versions of the stories. Your second most used page, your third most used page, how someone's thinking about your homepage, what to be doing on other pages like your contact page. We need to be thinking about those places. And then once someone signs up, whether they sign up for, let's say, email newsletter, you need to engage them. And we need to have engagement series when you send out stories, different versions of these stories. And once they've left your website, one of the most powerful things that you can do is surround your customers, surround your prospects with retargeting. Have your customer stories everywhere on the internet. And this is a paid strategy, but it's an amazingly effective paid strategy, because we know people are interested in you and they are thinking about you, and we want to follow up with them. And when your stories show up all throughout the internet, guess what? You become the authority. You're building that value, overcoming all those objections. Then once you leave, we're going to talk about long-term nurture, following up with people. I just did an amazing podcast talking about follow-up. We'll put a link to that down below. But you need to follow up with people until they die, or they say, get away from me. You need to be following up with people you just don't know. I've had people 6-7 years later become our clients. I've seen this over and over again with case stories. I had a client that, we filmed the case story 5 years before. And that's amazing. And then we're going to talk about proposals and contracts. How to increase your conversion rate on your proposals and contracts using case stories. We're talking about how to make your social media more social with case stories. And then we're going to talk about onboarding. This is one of the most highly profitable places that people are really failing. And it's how do you onboard a client and how do you use case stories to onboard? So there's going to be a ton in there throughout this entire series. Plus, in the next video, we're going to go through the calculator, because I'm willing to bet that you have $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 fish in the barrel. That if you go through this calculator, and you can download it right now. If you sign up for the series, you can download it. But the next part in the series, which if you're listening to the podcast, the entire series will only be on YouTube. So I apologize. I just didn't want to put the entire series out there and just bombard everyone if they're not interested. And it's a long series. And it's hours of content. But if you go through the fish in a barrel calculator, I'm willing to bet you have $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 fish in your barrel. Right? Places that you can add revenue right now by using case stories. All right. So that's it for this episode of the Garlic Marketing Show. It's the intro of the Fish and Barrel series. Once again, if you want to get the whole series, we'll put a link down below in the show notes, or you can go subscribe over on YouTube. We'll also have a link on YouTube on where you can get all the extra bonuses. You can get the Fish in the Barrel planner and calculate and get a plan out for getting your Fish in the Barrel video marketing strategy done. We'll actually have a bonus video around that. You'll get the document, which will include the case story tackle box for planning out all of your case stories. All right. Well, thank you for joining me on this episode of the Garlic Marketing Show. Once again, if you're listening to this, go check it out on YouTube. If you want to get the podcast, you can go over to Spotify, look up the Garlic Marketing Show and subscribe. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. For a little bonus, let's add some accountability. Decide when and where you're going to have that Fish in a Barrel marketing strategy complete and out there, version 1. Put that date down below. We'll hold you to it. We'll comment. There's additionally, when you download the planner, there's ways to get additional accountability. And of course, if you want help doing this, if you just want us to do this for you, you can go to videocasestory.com and sign up. We'll help you to collect, craft, and deliver all those amazing video case stories. All right. Well, thank you for taking me on your journey. This has been Iron Garlic and the Garlic Marketing Show.